What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hamid's Tech. So today we have here the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, S21 Ultra and my favorite here of 2020, the S20 FE. So what I'm going to do is put some photos, put some videos side by side with each other, look at them and see which one does give you the better shot. Right now it's being recorded at 1080p on the selfie video. So you guys do let me know in the comments down below which one you think does look better and which one do I look better in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So now let's check out some nice selfie shots on all three of these phones, and not surprisingly, the S21 Ultra would give you the better selfie shots among all these three phones, followed by the Note 20 Ultra and S20 FE. The S21 Ultra does have a 40 megapixel dual autofocus camera and it does give you much better details and much better color compared to the S20 FE, which also does have a 40 megapixel sensor. The Note 20 Ultra also does very well when it comes to colors and dynamic range, and I gotta say, in terms of the overall picture, the S20 FE is the most disappointing among the bunch. One thing really good here on all three of these phones is that if you want to take a group selfie shot, you can actually have that option to expand the field of view. When you crop in into the shots, you can see that the subject separation is really good on all three of these phones. And you can still change the background effect once you're done taking the photo in the gallery photo editing app. Now let's go outdoor and look at these outdoor shots, and we're going to see the color, dynamic range and details on all three of these phones. In general, the S20 FE I feel does give you a more saturated look, whereas on the S21 Ultra and Note 20 Ultra it does tend to go towards a more natural look. In terms of dynamic range and shadows, I feel that the Note 20 Ultra does give you a more consistent image, whereas on the S21 Ultra, it's a bit of a hit and miss right now. Sometimes it does give you very good details in the shadows, whereas sometimes it does get overblown out in the shadow area. Of course, this is due to the fact that the Note 20 Ultra has had multiple months of updates, whereas on the S21 Ultra, it's only in its infant stage. Overall, in terms of sharpness on all three of these phones, they do give you very detailed images, and I gotta say I'm very impressed on all three of these phones, especially on the cheaper S20 FE. So now we're going to check out some shots taken with the ultra wide lens and also the telephoto cameras, and definitely yes, there will be some details lost and some distortion, but nothing too significant on all three of these phones. The ultra wide shots will look a bit softer, but I would say the details and colors is still very good compared to the main camera lens. The S21 Ultra and S20 FE does have a 3x optical zoom, whereas on the Note 20 Ultra it's at 5x of optical zoom. The S21 Ultra does have an extra telephoto camera which can go up to optical 10x of zoom, which is very impressive on a phone like this. So at 3x of optical zoom on the S20 FE and S21 Ultra, the S21 Ultra would give you a sharper, more detailed image compared to the more processed S20 FE. At 5x of the Note 20 Ultra, it also does give you a very good quality image, and yes, it does really help with an extra zoom. The S20 FE does max out about 30x of zoom, whereas on the Note 20 Ultra, 50x zoom, and the S21 Ultra, 100x of space zoom. At this point, it's really quite useless seeing that the quality of the photos over here do look very soft and the details is very lost. And as we can see here, switching from the main lens to the ultra wide and telephoto, the details and dynamic range is really well kept on all three of these phones. And although the S20 FE and S21 Ultra does have a 3x optical zoom, somehow the S21 Ultra does give you a clearer image compared to the more processed S20 FE. And also it has seemed that Samsung has tried to tone down the saturation on all three of these phones with multiple updates, as it used to be very saturated and very contrasty when you're taking shots on all your Samsung phones. So over here at 10x zoom on all three of these phones, the S21 Ultra, not surprisingly again, does give you a sharper and cleaner look compared to the more processed S20 FE and Note 20 Ultra. I think among all the extra cameras that Samsung could have added to the S21 Ultra, the extra telephoto camera, which can go up to 10x of zoom, is a very useful feature that many other phone companies should be doing to their phones. Now let's go back to some nice portrait shots on all three of these phones, and yes, I'm using the word portrait, seeing that Samsung has changed the live focus to portrait finally with the One UI 3.1 update. Portraits taken with all three phones are really good and very similar, although the S20 FE does look a bit more saturated compared to the other two phones. This is still a good thing, especially if you are using the S20 FE. But the S21 Ultra and Note 20 Ultra does give you the added extra option to take with the telephoto lens, so you can get a more close-up portrait shot. Colors on all three of these phones again are very similar, so yes, you get a more natural skin tone, which is a really good thing and I really do like on the Samsung phones. In this shot over here with my shirt, you can see that the S20 FE does look a bit more punchy and a bit more contrasty compared to the Note 20 Ultra and S21 Ultra. When cropped in, the details on all three phones are really good, but I gotta say the S21 Ultra and S20 FE does give you a more detailed image compared to the Note 20 Ultra. Subject separation is again very similar on all three phones, very accurate, and as you can see, not much distortion when it comes to the bokeh effect. Under trickier lighting conditions, the S21 Ultra, as you can see here, does have a clear lead compared to the Note 20 Ultra and S20 FE. And yes, finally, you can change the background effect in the gallery photo editing app. So Samsung did something really interesting with the S21 Ultra's ultra-wide camera by providing a dual pixel autofocus camera. This is only exclusive to the S21 Ultra and is something very similar to the OnePlus 8 Pro. So by doing this, they're actually providing you an extra camera without you knowing it. Over here, you can see with the ultra-wide lens, not only it does give you a nice good image, but if you're taking close-up photos, as you can see here on all three of these phones, it does give you a very sharp and clear image. Yes, other phone companies would give you a dedicated macro shooter, but usually it's very bad at about 2 to 5 megapixel and the photos would actually look very soft. And as you can see here, the shots taken are very detailed and very sharp. So we all know about the autofocus with the Galaxy S20 Ultra. This was fixed with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra and implemented on the S21 Ultra with the laser autofocus. Over here, the Note 20 Ultra and S21 Ultra does have a smoother and faster autofocus compared to the Galaxy S20 FE, and I gotta say it's very good on all three phones. So it does get sometimes pretty frustrating when you want to take that nice video and when you look at it, it's pretty shaky, but don't worry, as on all three of these phones, they do have a video stabilization feature. And I gotta say, on all three of these phones, the video stabilization feature, colors, details, and dynamic range are very similar on all three of these phones, which is a good thing, especially if you are using the cheaper S20 FE. So alright, we are back at our usual spot and immediately you can see that on the S20 FE it looks the darkest. I would say that the Note 20 Ultra actually looks the best among the three. It does have less noise compared to the S21 Ultra. You can see a little bit of defects and a bit of that lighting over here on the Note 20 Ultra. And over on the back there, you can see the lights on both the S21 and S20 FE. It is very blue, whereas on the Note 20 Ultra, it's a bit more balanced. So very impressive from the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Also do check out the stabilization. So let's turn off the lights and check out some night photography over here on all three of these phones. Over the past 2 to 3 years, Samsung has definitely improved when it comes to night mode. And as you can see here, even though shots are really good taken with the auto mode with the main lens, but once you activate that beast night mode on all three of these phones, photos taken over here are a much different level compared to their main counterparts. Photos do look more bright and more detailed when you have your night mode on. But that being said, I was pretty disappointed with the S21 Ultra, seeing that they do have a bit more grain to their photos compared to the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and it's pretty similar to the S20 FE. Of course, this is more of a software issue, so yes, hopefully with future updates, the S21 Ultra's good hardware would complement with their nice good software when it comes to night shots. So over here, I came across the gauntlet that Thanos has left ever since Endgame, and I've got to say that the Note 20 Ultra does give you the overall better shot. It does look sharper and very bright compared to the S21 Ultra, which does look a bit softer to the Note 20 Ultra. And over here, I gotta say, Batman does look really good with some night portrait shots. One thing really cool on all three phones is the fact that you can actually use the ultra-wide lens as well when you're using night mode, and as you can see here, the S21 Ultra still does a pretty good job, but again, the Note 20 Ultra I would say gives you a more consistent image compared to the other three phones. On the S20 FE, it's a bit more processed and a bit more saturated compared to the other two phones. Opposite to when you're taking daytime shots, photos will look very different moving from the main lens all the way to the ultra-wide and telephoto lens. There is a remarkable drop when it comes to quality moving to the ultra-wide lens. You can see it's a bit more distorted, the details are lost, and the dynamic range is a bit of a mess on all three of these phones. Even when you're using the ultra-wide lens, the S21 Ultra does give you a more noisy image compared to the S20 FE and the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which overall I would say does give you a more detailed image. And as you can see here, you can still use the telephoto lens when you're taking night mode shots. Not surprisingly, photos will come out very soft and less detailed compared to the shots taken during daytime. With all that being said, I am still pretty grateful that you can actually use multiple lenses when you're taking night mode shots. And to end this video, here are some night selfies, and not surprisingly, the S21 Ultra does give you the overall better shot. I do look brighter, more handsome and sharper in the S21 Ultra compared to the Note 20 Ultra, and lastly over here, the Galaxy S20 FE. So that is it. This is the camera comparison between the S21 Ultra, Note 20 Ultra and Galaxy S20 FE. Do leave a comment down below which one you guys think did the overall best when it came to taking shots. And yes, in different categories, do leave your comment down below on what you think. So if you guys find this video helpful and you did enjoy this, do click that like and smash the subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my social as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hames Tech. So that is it. This is Dr. Hames Tech. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.